Moses, 13th century BC. Probably no person in history has been so widely admired as the great Hebrew prophet Moses. Furthermore, his fame as well as the number of people who respect him has steadily grown throughout the ages. It is most likely that Moses flourished in the 13th century BC, since Ramses II, generally thought to be the pharaoh of the Exodus story, died in 1237 BC during Moses' lifetime. As the book of Exodus makes clear, there were a fair number of Hebrews who disagreed with his policies. Within 5 centuries, however, Moses was revered by all the Jewish people by 500 AD. His fame and reputation had spread, along with Christianity, throughout much of Europe. A century later, Muhammad recognized Moses as a true prophet, and with the spread of Islam, Moses became an admired figure throughout the Muslim world. Even in Egypt, today, some 32 centuries after he lived, Moses is honored by Jews, Christians, and Muslims alike, and is even respected by many agnostics. Thanks to modern communications, he is probably even better known today than he was in the past. Despite his renown, reliable information concerning Moses' life is scarce. There has even been speculation that Moses was an Egyptian since his name is of Egyptian rather than Hebrew origin. It means child or son and occurs as part of the name of several famous pharaohs. The Old Testament stories concerning Moses can hardly be accepted at face value since they involve a large number of miracles. The stories of the burning bush or of Moses turning his staff into a serpent, for example, are basically miraculous in nature, and it does tax one's credulity perhaps to believe that Moses, who was already 80 years old at the time of the Exodus, still managed to lead the Hebrews in a 40-year trip throughout the desert. Surely we would like to know exactly what the real Moses accomplished before his story was buried in an avalanche of legends. Many persons have tried to give natural interpretations to the biblical stories of the 10 plagues and the crossing of the Red Sea. However, most of the favorite Old Testament stories concerning Moses are legendary, with analogues in other mythologies. The story of Moses and the bulrushes, for instance, is strikingly similar to a Babylonian story concerning Sargon of Akkad, a great king who reigned about 2360 to 2305 BC. In general, there are three major achievements attributed to Moses. First, he is credited with being the political figure who led the Hebrews in the exodus from Egypt. On this point, at least, it is clear that he deserves credit. Second, he is the reputed author of the first five books of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, which are often referred to as the five books of Moses, and which constitute the Jewish Torah. These books include the Mosaic Code, the set of laws which, in principle, governed the conduct of the Jews in biblical times, and which include the Ten Commandments. In view of the enormous influence which the Torah as a whole and the Ten Commandments in particular have had, their author would surely deserve to be considered a man of great and enduring influence. However, most biblical scholars agree that Moses was not the sole author of these books. The books were apparently written by several authors, and the great bulk of the material was not put into writing until considerably after Moses' death. It is possible that Moses played some role in codifying existing Hebrew customs or even in originating Hebrew laws, but there is really no way of judging how great his role was. Third, many people consider Moses to be the founder of Jewish monotheism. In one sense, there is no basis at all for such a claim. Our only source of information concerning Moses is the Old Testament, and the Old Testament explicitly and unambiguously credits Abraham with being the founder of monotheism. Nevertheless, it is quite clear that Jewish monotheism would have died out had it not been for Moses, and he unquestionably played the crucial role in its preservation and transmission. In this, of course, lies his greatest importance, since Christianity and Islam, the two largest religions in the world, are both derived from Jewish monotheism. The idea of one true God, which Moses believed in so passionately, has eventually spread through a large part of the world.